name. Crumbling towers, streets in flames, forgotten heroes, who knows their names? Broken futures, shattered dreams, end of times ain't what it seems.
Hello friends, this is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is July 22nd, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. As I've been on vacation for the last week, I'm back. I'd like to thank Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy for filling in. He did a swell job for us. And so thank you, Thomas, if you're listening out there on the interwebs. He may join us today. He's in Cambodia. We have that large time difference. His usual Tuesday appearance. I haven't had contact with him today because he usually it's like 8 in the morning or something over there where he is, as opposed to our time. Anyway, wow, what has happened? A lot in a week since I've been off, right? Just more psyops, lies, propaganda from the crime syndicate known as your federal government. Look over there. Look over there. There's no Epstein files, right? Right. What do we got today for you? Today we have reporting from the White House. A little bit going on there. The president of the Philippines visited Trump at the White House today. Some more trade deals. We're going to go over this promises made, promises kept claim by the White House. See what we think of this propaganda. What else do we got? The MLK files were released yesterday. I'm going to go over a little bit of that. I didn't have time to do a deep dive. We will be doing a deep dive throughout this week. Tomorrow we'll have Ruckus from Alternate Current Radio joining us to co-host. We'll go over some of the MLK file findings. And looks like we do have Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy joining us. So he'll cover some of the news today. Today, Trump is at the White House saying, and he's put out posts, that Obama committed treason. The House of Representatives, led by Christian Zionist piece of trash Mike Johnson, have gone on vacation, summer vacation, as to not vote on anything Epstein. The Democrats are trying to force some kind of votes to start a new Epstein investigation, something like this. Let's go on summer break. Who cares? Right? Right. And it just looks like a whole big another cover up. Again, a rerun, a bad rerun, a replay. We've already seen it. Trump's talking a big mess, though, at the White House there. And so it feels like he's digging himself a deeper grave. My silent producer, my wife, says that Trump's not going to make it to the end of the year in the White House. He'll be impeached. I don't know. But hey, they got Mr. Technocracy, J.D. Vance, waiting in the wings there. So we have that to look forward to. But sadly, no more House of Representatives, as if they represented us at all. What else do we have today? We have public health news. What's going on with the fluoride in the public drinking water supply? The Trump administration is blocking efforts to have it removed. But MAHA, they care about our health. MAHA is, what do they say? Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks to cut synthetic dyes by 2027. Headline out of Bloomberg. Whoop-de friggin' do. If you're eating that, you're not MAHA anyway. To begin with. No no mention of the genetically modified organisms in our food supply. No mention of all the toxic pesticides. It just goes on and on with the idiocy here. Now, I guess that's the low-hanging fruit. Whoop-de-friggin-do, synthetic dyes. That's like very low on the list of toxic chemicals in our food supply here now, isn't it? What do we got? Now they're saying, we'll get to it, about organ harvesting. Yeah, who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? Oh, they're harvesting your organs at American hospitals. Who cares? You know what I mean? You're bad and they're good, right? YouTube? Yep. HHS. Well, we'll get to public health. Got a little bit to go through there. We have our geopolitical news. It appears that Ukraine has just voted to do away with their, quote, independent corruption review task force, whatever you call it. The guys over there in Ukraine that were looking at corruption, they're corrupt. So Ukraine voted to get rid of them. There's big protest in Ukraine. Who cares? They're a bunch of, Russians, Russian Putin sympathizers. And it's all Russian misinformation. And Zelensky is the greatest democratically elected president in Europe's history. Right? Right. Okay. So all of that is going on. Of course, Lavrov says Europe has gone crazy. Cover all of that in the geopolitical news. And there's a lot about aardvark genocide. It rolls on. I saw a post saying, is there a quota? It looks like there is a quota to kill at least 100 a day, maybe. I don't know. It's looking like that's the quota, because every day you look, oh yeah, don't worry, the genocide continues. 100 dead every day, just about, and they average it out. It's a little less someday, a little more the next, but it's averaging out to be about 100 a day, and so that's continuing. The rest of the world, Europe can't handle the pressure. What is it? 20? How many? 20 something. 28 countries. How many is it? 28 nations condemn aardvark land's inhumane killing in Gaza. And so it's the Five Eyes: Australia, France, Japan. These are not the Five Eyes, but these are the main, quote, Western countries. Australia, France, Japan, UK all released a joint statement yesterday condemning the inhumane killing of civilians. Really inhumane. Genocide, man. They know it. So it's naked at this point, but America won't stop supporting them for some odd reason. Even AOC, the great left-wing savior, is she voted to continue the aardvark funding. And so she's seen major pushback of vandalism against her offices, allegedly. I wouldn't doubt if she did it to herself at this point. You know what I mean? It's just we're so far beyond the point of believing anything any of these politicians say. And then, of course, Ozzy Osborne died today. And so we're going to close out with a live performance by him in his honor. We'll have to log off of YouTube because they'll flag us for copyright there. But we'll play a live edition of War Pigs by Black Sabbath, sung by Ozzy Osborne to honor his death. Rest in peace there. Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osborne. And what else do we got? And we'll get to a bunch of other news as we go. And it does appear that Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy is going to join us today. Let me get to this day in history for you. First, we'll hit the satanic calendar, because that ties in with all this Epstein stuff, all the dark occult weirdness that the, quote, elites are into. Bohemian Grove, of course, going on. I think that hit last week. But if we take a look at our satanic calendar, going back to the 20th, so what was that, Sunday? Sunday was the 20th, right? Yeah, going back to Sunday. So July 20th through the 26th on our satanic calendar, the dark occultists, Satanists out there are practicing ceremonial abduction, in ceremonial preparation, and holding of sacrificial victims for the grand climax, which happens on July 27th. And that marks 5 weeks and 1 day after the summer solstice. And we'll be covering that horrific ceremony for you, but we're in the midst of it right now. Keep that in mind, as Prince of Darkness has passed away today. On to this day in history. On this day, they were noticing back in 1306. So the noticing has been going on a while here now, hasn't it? But in 1306, Prince Philip the Fair orders expulsion of all aardvarks from France. And so he was a big antiseptic guy, even back in 1306. We go forward here now in history on this day to 1864, the Battle of Atlanta. Quite a horrific battle in the United States Civil War, or as some of our audience has asked me to call it, the Northern War of Aggression. In 1864, on this day, the Battle of Atlanta, General Sherman's Union side defeats Confederate troops under General Hood with 8,449 Confederate and 3,641 Union casualties. Quite horrific Battle of Atlanta there, marked on this day. In 1917, on this day, British bomb German lines in Ypres, spending some 4,250,000 grenades. I'd say that's quite a bit of grenades that they used in the bombing there. Another horrific event in history here, brought to us by the UK. In 1933, on this day, we saw the first solo flight around the world. Willie Post completes the first solo flight around the world, taking 7 days and 19 hours, completed by aviator Wiley Post. 1 year later, in 1934, we saw the death of John Dillinger outside Chicago's Bigraph Theater. Public enemy #1 at the time, John Dillinger, was mortally wounded by FBI agents. The feds killed John Dillinger. In 1942, the United States saw gasoline rationing. Coupons began being issued on this day on account of World War II. In 1946, and we're going to play that as a segue for the intro to remind everybody, we saw the bombing of the hotel, of the King David Hotel there in Aardvark land. And so the Meacham begins, Zionist military group Argonne bombs the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, the British administrative headquarters for Palestine, killing 91 people of various nationalities and injuring 46 others. Well, they're totally justified in it. Don't be anti-Semitic against them. They're allowed to do anything they want. Right? Right. Moving forward here now. What else do we have on this day? Interestingly enough, in 1988, on this day, we saw 500 U.S. scientists pledge to boycott the Pentagon germ warfare research program. And now they've all been excommunicated, and the science says germ warfare is the greatest science ever known, and you better appreciate it. Also on this day, in 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer, the infamous serial killer, confesses to killing 17 men in 1978. A year later, in 1992, Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar escapes prison. It's also World Brain Day. Wanted to mention that as I'm trying to get my brain back right here in the groove, in the routine of the weaponized news for you. And then what else do we have? I found this rather interesting. In 1928, in this day of history for our civil liberties, in 1928, the ACLU annual report released on this day charged Pennsylvania government, led by all other states, in civil liberties violations. So a great bastion of freedom and civil liberties there in Pennsylvania. It was found by the ACLU in 1928 to be the violator of the most of any state in the Union. And so we do appreciate the tyrannical efforts of the Pennsylvania government, even back in 1928. And then also on this day, in 1985, an arrest warrant was issued for Attorney General Ed Meese for jaywalking. A warrant for the arrest of Attorney General Ed Meese was issued in California on this day because he never paid a $10 fine for jaywalking in 1980. And they prosecuted him the same. They're going to go after the whole Russia Gate hoax. If you get my drift. Okay, to celebrate the King David bombing there by our great friends in Aardvark land, we're going to play this clip from the AP as a segue, and then we'll bring Thomas on, and we'll get to all the news for you here today. And so, of course, terrorist bombing, King David Hotel. Well, even the AP is showing a streak of anti-Semitism here, and it's quite horrific that they would even report on such a thing.
Jerusalem has long been the focal point of the still unsolved problem of Palestine. Although in times of comparative peace, Jews and Arabs live side by side and go about their business in the old city of Jerusalem with apparent calm, beneath the surface, bitter enmity has continued to smoulder for years. This is the Wailing Wall, where many Jews have been offering special prayers following the latest outrage by terrorists. And these are scenes in the modern part of the city, contrasting vividly with the old Jerusalem. The King David Hotel itself. It was in the wing on the right of the picture that the terrorists placed their explosive. And the result of the crime, the tragic scene, is like a serious incident during the Blitz. The hotel housed the British Army headquarters and the Palestine government offices, and casualties were very heavy. 65 deaths are reported, and there is little or no hope of survival for any of the 58 missing. Nearly 50 others were injured. The Jewish terrorist organization, Yemen Leumi, openly admitted responsibility for the bombing. Many arrests have been made. Leaders of the Jewish agency have expressed horror at the dastardly crime perpetrated by a gang of desperados. Mr. Attlee of the House of Commons declared, "The British government will not be diverted by acts of violence in their search for a just and final solution of the Palestine problem." President Truman, condemning the wanton act of terrorism, added that America and Britain are conferring on steps to be taken to implement the report of the Anglo-American Palestine Committee. Undoubtedly, the people of Britain anxiously wait for the announcement of a policy which will prevent the loss of any more innocent lives.
Almost messed up my settings here. Let's bring them on. How you doing this Tuesday, Thomas?
Greetings. Yeah, doing well over here in Asia. Good to see you again. Back from your work break there. Good to be here on
Happy
Weaponized News.
happy bombing of the King David Hotel there in Jerusalem.
Yes, plenty of
Anniversary.
bombing going on today. Plenty of bombing going on today in multiple countries as the virus spreads. The virus is spreading.
By the way, we're on YouTube, so you got to self-censor on the Lyris talks.
Will do.
Okay, let's get right to the news here today. Oh, by the way, thank you, Thomas, for filling in last week for me. Appreciate it. I hope everyone was thoroughly informed. That one show was like almost 5 hours. And shout out to, I don't know what happened. I guess it was Denver posting it. Shout out to you, Denver, on there. But we're still racking up. I didn't even post on Substack for a week, obviously on vacation. But we went viral on Substack. We're still racking up followers and subscriptions. I don't know what happened, but it just goes to show if you're not censored, then you could probably actually, get some people listening to what you say. Anyway, shout out to the Substack audience. Someday, some way, we'll figure out how to live stream on there. I don't even know if I have the option. I was trying to figure it out. Anyway, the show will be uploaded, and I uploaded 3 of Thomas's shows, 2 or 3. Now I'm lost. There's so many. We will upload them all to Substack. But shout out to the Substack audience. Thank you guys over there. It seems uncensored over there. I don't know. I don't trust any of these platforms. But the rest are definitely censored besides Bitchute, I would have to say at this point. But anyway, thank you to everybody, however you may be viewing us on the interwebs. Ozzy Osborne dies today at age 76. And so just weeks after his farewell show with Black Sabbath. And as we mentioned at the beginning, we are in this part of the satanic calendar. What do you think of Ozzy? Was he satanic, an occultist, or just misunderstood?
Well, certainly seemed to be a bit on the satanic side.
He called himself the Prince of Darkness. So I don't know. Was it all just for show, or was it real? You know what I mean? He had the song Mr. Crowley. That's pretty satanic. You know what I mean? But
he certainly supported a lot of these satanic democrats, no question about it. It certainly was attacking anybody that wanted to see American patriotism, populism, actual democracy. He certainly didn't like that idea. He didn't seem to like that idea and was supporting everybody fighting against that, which was quite strange to see, actually, from somebody you would expect, everybody expected all of these people in the rock and roll industry would be freedom fighters, not parading and helping and assisting and supporting Talmudic, Bolshevik, Jewish communism, commissarism.
Yeah, so I guess he was a dark occultist, it appears. But I'd seen him say that it was he's a Christian and it was misunderstood. But then there's other clips that he's summoning demons, doing dark occult rituals. So who knows? I guess God only knows what's in your heart. And so bless Ozzy Osborne as he leaves this world at the age of 76 today. Okay, moving on here. Look at this from our friend Ruckus. He nailed it right here. This came out yesterday from the White House. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, you messed up my settings here, but I think I can fix it. Anyway, Ruckus nailed it. Trump, the movie poster, government propaganda. They came for the wrong man. I was hunted. Now I'm the hunter. Really? 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 What do you make of this cartoon propaganda from the White House yesterday?
I think Whitney Webb's comment there. We got a bit of echo in the background.
Yeah, I got it.
I think Whitney Webb's comment there. She's the first one at the top there. She's ratioing everybody almost not quite ratioing the White House, but she says there, yeah, but he only hunts political enemies, not the pedos. Release all the Epstein docs. He's going after the people that crossed him, were against him, etc. Fought against him. but nothing else. I mean, he was raised up by the deep state, by Roy Cohn, Les Wexner, the Jewish mafia of New York. He's been.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. I got a whole section on that. We'll get into that, and you could spill all the beans on that. Let's go to. Let's get into the White House business of the day. The president, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., visited the White House today. Let's take a look and see if we can spot a Masonic handshake here or not. I honestly couldn't see it, but maybe our audience can see it.
President Trump, sir, your message to the people of the Philippines.
Love them.
Can you get a trade deal done?
And we respect their leader greatly. This is their leader.
Can you get a
He's very tough on negotiating, but that's okay.
President Marcos, you think you'll get a deal done today, sir?
I think we will.
Couldn't really see the handshake there, if they were doing a Masonic handshake or not.
And strange things going on in the Philippines. Remember, Duterte arrested in his own country, right, by the International Criminal Court. So they can manage this. They can arrest Duterte in his own country, right, extrajudiciously, for what they're charging in crimes against humanity and these. He was
killing drug dealers.
Right. So he just says enough. We got this massive drug problem. The police can go out there and take care of these people, bust them and whatnot. Get rid of this death penalty to drug dealers, immediate death penalty. And if the police need to, engage in live fire with these people to stop them, then they can do it. You will be shot if you're caught doing drugs. There's massive epidemic of drugs in the Philippines, and then he completely collapsed the crime rate, absolutely collapsed the rate of drugs and drug use in the country. Massive success doing this. Everybody totally afraid to be involved in the drug business, and everybody calling in the drug dealers and getting them busted. Just absolutely destroyed the drug industry in there. And then he gets arrested, and yet, right. Where's the arrest for Mile Koski? Where's the arrest here? You got international arrest warrants. He's wanted around the world, and Trump is hiding him. It's a very strange situation, isn't it?
The White House says that, well, we'll put it on the screen here. They say that the Philippines will pay 19% tariff. In addition, we will work together militarily, and so I guess that's what they sorted out there.
Yeah, they're getting a huge discount, down to 20%, where the other countries in Asia, the developed high-cost countries, are getting 25%, and the lesser developed low-cost countries are getting 30%, 30 up to 34%, 35%, 36%. So if the Philippines got a massive discount because they're a military partner in the region that's crawling with American military bases and the American intelligence industry bases, the Pacific Fleet bases, and so on, and they're trying to strengthen the relationship in the region with Vietnam. So they're giving Vietnam the massive discount to 20% as well, and funneling massive money in there to stave off the future of China and solidify the West, right? The Israel, NATO, ally states, their stranglehold, their control on Southeast Asia, which they've had for quite some time. And the Japanese government in World War II was trying to free the Asian countries from that, but they failed to do that, right?
Trump also announced a trade agreement with the Republic of Indonesia. He says that, well, we'll put his post on the screen here. It's my great honor to announce our trade agreement with the Republic of Indonesia as represented by their highly respected president. It is agreed that Indonesia will be open market to American industrial and tech products and agricultural goods by eliminating 99% of their tariff barriers. The United States will now sell American-made products to Indonesia at a tariff rate of 0, while Indonesia will pay 19% on all of their products coming into the United States. This.
So if they what are they going to buy? Are they going to buy the miracle magic shot beef, right? The millions of cattle and all of the animals injected with this garbage. Then all of these things resulting in there. I'll just self-censor. I'll just self-censor again. Apologies. I'll try not to go too deep on it. What products are they going to buy? They're talking about buying the agricultural products, but the GMO, right, food that is shown to be causing all of these massive issues, and Kennedy fighting against that. Fortunately, some of that, but hey, miracle shot meat. I mean, what could possibly be better? What could be more in demand?
You know it. It's safe and effective, and yeah, this is the White House posted this. Apparently, they made it with AI. It has the little tag from Google VO, and so this is what the White House is posting. We'll probably get tagged for copyright, but apparently they can steal whatever they want. Live view the White House. She's in her golden age, and they say, haters, this is all. Like literally, it's Barron Trump and his college fraternity running the official White House account. You can see it right here, and we'll just play it for you. Tried not to get much of that song, but you could see the video.
Are those the Trump shit coins falling down?
They are indeed. 24 karat magic in the air. It's just really, but golden showers confirmed. Foundering said underneath that one.
Fake intelligence gold.
Okay, let's go through this. White House posted, promises made, promises kept. Let's go through this and see what we think. Did they really, have they fulfilled these promises? Number one, seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. I guess they've done that. Haven't they done that? What do you think?
Have they sealed the border? I don't think so. I think this is ridiculous.
Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. They haven't done that. They have not done that. They've arrested some high-profile illegal aliens that have a bunch of more felonies while they're here, but they have not carried out the largest deportation operation in American history. That's another one they haven't done. End inflation.
Are you sure? Are you sure they haven't carried it out? I thought Trump said, "Well, welcome illegal immigrants to the farms. Let's make sure that we have you there, and welcome to the hotels. And we need your staff in the Trump Tower and all our other hotels. So, welcome illegal immigrants. We're going to deport you into my hotels and into the farms, the American farms."
They have not carried out the biggest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Where I'm at, it could be just California, but things are as pricey as ever. The price of gasoline, surprisingly enough, has stabilized here in California, and many of the predictions that I saw out there was going to go out up $1 by July 1st have not come true, thankfully, but a lot of it is on the California state government as far as the fuel goes. But I would say they have not ended inflation. No matter what rigged economic data they put out, prices are still increasing here now. They say prices on everyday goods continue to fall. It's just simply not true as far as I can tell. But I'm not a big shopper, so I guess we'll go with their rigged economic data. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world. Thomas, what do you think about that? They don't even know who Alpha Mega Energy is, or will talk to you.
Yeah, well, their version of doing that is keeping all of the technology innovators seized, all 4,000 plus of them that are on record, and the many, many more that are off record. Keep it all seized, keep it all under wraps. But don't even talk about it. Don't mention it even one single time. Don't fund the innovators. Though I did just get an offer from the fourth offer I've had so far from the Berkeley Skydeck. I've been scouted again, and they want me to relocate to Silicon Valley, to Berkeley, to build in there, right, at a preset cookie cutter, copy and paste pricing of a whopping $2.8 million valuation for the most valuable technology in history. Meanwhile, they give $1 to $11 billion in valuations for these small fraudulent reactors that nobody's ever made a single one of these. I mean, record wild criminal fraud outside of the fraudulent great hot fusion scam industry. They want me to relocate there at my own expense, at our own expense, brain drain all of these developing countries. You have to pay for it all. So, and stay there for 5 months, and then add local.
And then get deported to Alligator Alcatraz. That would be awesome.
And of
After
course,
they
you're
steal
going to
all your stuff.
right, and then they're going to force inject everybody as a minimum mandatory to do this, right? So they're going to murder all
Public
of these.
safety, anything for public safety.
Yeah, and then you need to add local Talmudic DEI co-founders as if they would be a co-founder. So these people are not even allowed to build in their own countries. They have to relocate to these Talmudic Zionist-controlled centers propped up in there. And then the whole point of in there is to technology transfer, free donation of this open sourcing into Cal Berkeley for them to use it and do whatever. And of course, they're going to seize this as well. If someone like me was in there building something there, they would just seize it. Probably, as I've been told by some people, as soon as your feet don't come to America, because as soon as your feet hit the tarmac, there's going to be multiple agencies literally competing for you as soon as your feet hit the tarmac. So don't come to America because you have no idea what the hell will end up happening.
And maybe you can get in some kind of
there.
maybe you can get in some kind of government mind control program.
I'm already in one. We're already in it.
Okay, number 5. Let's go back. So that one's not true. Number 5, stop outsourcing turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Maybe, I don't know. Are they? They say all these companies say they're going to invest, but it feels like it's going to all be automated with AI and humanoid robots, and there's not going to be these factory jobs from the 50s, these blue collar jobs. Maybe they're stopping outsourcing. I don't know. We'll get to that. The United States has opted out of UNESCO. We'll get to that reporting. Large tax cuts for workers. I guess that's true. No tips on taxes. Not really, though. I mean, I don't ever get tips in my industry. No tips on taxes. No tax on overtime. No tax on Social Security. I think that's one that he did campaign on, and they did do it. So maybe we can give them that one. Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom and the right to bear arms. Not so much. You got to worship aardvarks or they're going to come after you.
Right. Not only that, LinkedIn just responded to me yesterday that they are not restoring my account, third account that they've criminally destroyed on their platform. They demand my government issued ID. They are not a government agency. It's illegal for them to ask for that. They have no right to ask for that from anybody, but they're just demanding it and criminally destroying our account unless we hand it over indiscriminately. No explanation whatsoever. They refuse to answer. They refuse to talk about a case closed. They just close.
Well, they're a private company. They can censor anybody they want. That's the argument.
Right. So there's no, right. He's talking about the censorship industrial complex. He's dismantling that. No, he's not doing anything about it at all. There's only like where are the arrests of the people who did this in the government, even the government abusing this authority, and every single person, those are First Amendment rights violations.
Big Tech told us that, remember Zuckerberg, our new bro, he said that the only reason he censored during the medical intervention was that the feds were turning the screws on him. If it was up to him, it would have been free reign to, warn people about all the tyranny that was coming about. But the feds turned the screws, and they gave him an offer he couldn't refuse, and so he couldn't do anything about it. And that's the line all the big tech took. And so, yeah, where are the prosecutions of the feds that turned the screws on the big tech, if that's how it really went, when it looks like they're one and the same, essentially? Big tech, feds, same. Okay, so that's another one that not so much. Prevent, listen to this
Nothing.
one.
Zero.
Listen to this. Nothing. Listen to this one. Prevent World War III, restore peace in Europe and in Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. What are they talking about? Russia and Ukraine are still killing the hell out of each other.
Right. Trump has just asked, for strikes. He's asked for strikes in Moscow, for Christ's sake.
And so this is not really making a whole lot of sense. They're claiming, we saw little Marco, the State Department, the Trump administration claim that somehow they had a hand in brokering peace between Congo and Rwanda. Maybe, I don't know. They claim that. This giant boondoggle is the biggest ridiculous thing I've ever seen. A Golden Dome missile defense system. Iran broke through the Iron Dome there in Aardvark land a bunch. I don't know. You tell me. But a giant boondoggle, it appears, for the military-industrial complex is this Golden Dome missile defense system. So another fail there. Okay, here you go. Back to what we were talking about. They kind of doubled up. Freedom of speech, right? Number 7. And then they go, end the weaponization of government against the American people. Really? I don't think so. They just got done targeting all of these Palestinian college protesters from last spring over here, 2 springs ago, right? That were protesting at all the colleges. They just got done politically targeting those people for freaking deportation and a bunch of other stuff, for oppression. So they've weaponized it just in favor of Aardvark land now, this time a little bit more than the last administration. Has the weaponization of the government against the American people ended? Thomas, what do you think? I don't think so.
Yeah, certainly very clearly not. Of course, they're still going after only the low hanging fruit. They say the law applies to all. Nobody's above the law. It's an absolute joke, obviously.
Trump promised to purge corrupt elements from the DOJ and FBI. Is this a comedy? This is literally an article published by the White House on their official X account. This is not a parody or satire. This is the facts, man, according to the crime syndicate head now, the Trump administration. It's just beyond ridiculous. They did not purge corrupt elements because they would have to shut down the entire thing of the DOJ and the FBI. Okay, moving on here. Number 10, stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels. Well, they would have to get rid of the CIA and the rest of the intelligence agencies. And they haven't done that. Crush gang violence, lock up violent offenders. They've done some of that. They've sure hyped the hell out of it, the ones they got. Number 11, rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. They didn't rebuild jack in 6 months. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly.
Strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question. I don't know about that. They've given them over $1 trillion, budget, and they've never been audited successfully in the last since 2018 when it was mandated. And so just basically throwing over $1 trillion into a black hole to the military-industrial complex. So I guess if you call that strengthening and modernizing our military, they've done that. But they can't account for any of the funds. And so it's extremely questionable, to say the least. Keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. What are your thoughts on this, Thomas?
Well, it certainly is the world's reserve currency today. There's no possible competition for it today. There's no replacement. There's no alternative at all. And with them then going into blockchain and adding and investing in the development of stable coins that are denominated in United States dollars and developing this economy, that is a fantastic move to continue the U.S. dollar's strength and dominance there, so that continues growing. Also expanding a quantitative easing again by Besant, that as well is producing more use of the U.S. dollar. But there's so much more that they could do. Trump is clearly still beholden to this, again, Talmudic Zionist Jewish banking cartel.
The money changers? No. They're still in charge? Yeah, they are.
He's still beholden to that. So they're not, and they demand, as do the Rothschild British and the Royal Imperialists all across Europe, they demand that there's no money printing done and given to the people, the small businesses, the innovators, the local small businesses, etc., which then continues to strip them of opportunity. And then they demand the propaganda networks to endlessly demonize printing, to finance manufacturing, to finance the actual people, only printing to finance these corrupt
monopoly capitalism or neo-feudal serfdom, as some of
right. And then they're not investing internationally to these other countries for them to do anything using dollars either. So if they really wanted to keep the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, they would actually print way more dollars, investing into the different companies and technology companies and startups internationally, make sovereign wealth funds and investing internationally into these small businesses, helping them grow, taking shares, and then, and working with more countries so that they will use the US dollar in these trade deals. But Trump is making a lot of these trade deals, and some of the conditions, which we're not really seeing being reported on, is that they continue using the United States dollar and not going into these BRICS networks. And then they will have to as well agree to paying additional 10% tariff tax to sell their goods into the American market if they're going to not ally with his policy of using the US dollar and not the BRICS currency. And nobody talking about that yet. Of course, the mainstream media is not talking about that. And the new narrative media is not going to talk about that. And anybody in crypto is not going to talk about that, because that goes against their agenda as well, to sell you their shit coins, lying that the US dollar is collapsing.
Fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. I guess they've done that. The Ponzi scheme that it is. Cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costs and burdensome regulations. I guess they've done that as well. Cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate radical or racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Keep men out of women's sports. Deport pro-Hamas radicals. See, that's the whole thing back to your First Amendment. So they're very contradictory here, to say the least. Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots, and proof of citizenship. They haven't done that. Unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success.
What do you mean they haven't secured the selections machines with they're running Windows, and Windows just announced unprecedented security breaches and hacks and attacks and all kind of exploitation holes, record breaches in all of history. And of course, this has been going on for the last decade inside of there, and they only found quote unquote only found it now. And all the selections machines are running on Windows, but not the American Windows. They're running on the Chinese version of Windows, which has 3 publicly announced American Microsoft backdoors in it, including the God mode backdoor, which Bill Gates is on television saying that you couldn't possibly, the way that they built this, you couldn't possibly ever remove that one. So they can see pretty much everything that they ever want to see with their security team, reviewing everything. And then they have China, their Windows, they put in their own 4th backdoor in there for their CIA, effectively, their intelligence agency. And nobody talking about this. But hey, I guess Microsoft should have, instead of using Microsoft, they should have hired Dominion to run everything, because hey, they're the only company in the world, the only software in the world, the only machines in the world that can't possibly be hacked. Should have got Dominion.
As it should be.
Right,
So I think
I'm not defaming Dominion. I'm saying should have got Dominion.
I know, should have got Dominion. So I'd say out of 20 of the core promises to make America great again, campaigned on, this is their own words, this is not me, this is them. I would say they got about 3 or 4 out of 20, and the rest are just total BS. And those 4 are questionable at this point. So yeah, promises made, promises kept. Yeah, good job, liars. Okay, continuing here. ICE arrests surge nationwide, but they're not. There is no mass deportation. They're going after the low-hanging fruit. They're like, oh, that guy's just, they go through a bunch of states naming the statistics, but there is no mass deportation, and they're getting the in-your-face felons, you know what I mean, where you would expect whatever your citizenship status is, you would expect that you're committing rapes, murders, mayhem, and the like, that you're going to be arrested. And so whoop-de freaking do here. But they constantly pump out the propaganda every day. And I believe they are arresting some bad guys, but no mass deportations. So I don't agree with this guy on pretty much anything, because he's a socialist, commie guy, Robert Reich, the former labor secretary under the Clinton administration. But he does make a good point here where he says ICE just got a 265% detention funding boost. Palantir software is being used to create the federal government's first national citizenship data bank. The Trump regime is attacking naturalized citizens and birthright citizenship. Be warned, Trump's police state is here. And
it's true. It's correct. At least we
true,
can.
But he wouldn't. But the problem with this guy is he's so partisan of a hack. If there was a Democrat doing the same thing, he would say how wonderful it is. And so that's why
he certainly would. You're 100% correct on that. He certainly would.
That's why it falls on deaf ears, you see. And so we need these people to go across the stream and say that, well, it's all the government, actually.
Well, he's in. How could we fault Robert Reich? He's in Berkeley, Cal Berkeley guy, right? He's working there and living there, and wants people like myself. I mean, these people are so noble in all of their liberal virtue signaling. They demand the entire rest of the world to relocate to America only. Otherwise, F you, F your country, F your people. You're not allowed to build in your own country. You need to come here so that we can seize your technology and then have your company here and lock you into here. And you need to pay for it all. And then we're going to inject you and, and send you on your way later and keep everything else back here. That's it. Otherwise, there's nothing for you. And we're going to give you pennies on the pennies on the pennies on the pennies on the pennies of the fractions of the pennies of valuation. Meanwhile, trillions of dollars, billions of dollars in valuation for these Silicon Valley scams by our pals. You see how this works, folks? Thanks, Robert Reich. You're so virtuous, Robert Reich. I mean, so fantastic.
Thank you for informing us about the tyranny of Palantir. A little bit late there, bud. It's already done. It's already done. But thanks for telling us there, Robert Wright, Mr. Virtue Signaler. Okay, another virtue signaler is Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. So all the talk about Trump's in the Epstein files, Trump's touching little kids, and this and that and the other, as we've seen this last week. Turns out they decided to go ahead and point over there and say, look at the MLK files. 230,000 MLK assassination files have been released by the federal government here now. And so we're not going to do much of a dive, but it's out there. And the links, again, will be at our Weaponized News Substack. And go take a look into it. So there it is. A whole lot of files about MLK's death there. And we'll cover that more this week as we go on. Look at this, Charlie Kirk. I'd be embarrassed if I was him. I would delete the post, but they love it. And so Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA and Conservative Inc. has been retweeted or reposted by the U.S. Department of Labor. And so direct link here, you're a government propagandist here now, Charlie Kirk. We need more electricians and less sociology majors. I don't argue with that point, but this is what is disturbing, that he's being reposted by the Department of Labor, federal government agency there. And so very disturbing, to say the least, there.
Charlie Kirk, the aardvark, Charlie
Aardvark
Kirk,
hero,
posing as a
Christian conservative,
claims he's a Christian, clearly not a Christian.
Well, he's celebrating the bombing of the King David Hotel today. I'm sure the anniversary of it. Anyway, okay, here we go. Creation of, and this is a infographic created by your Director of National Intelligence, coming out of her official account. So this is your official government propaganda. Creation of the Russian hoax, real intel assessment. And of course, they go through all this. The headline, we lived through it, if you could remember, fake weaponization assessment. And so we're looking at bad replays and reruns going back to 2016, after they did the whole Mueller investigation, special counsel. And we all know the history of that. And we're replaying it again here now, it seems. Here is Trump's post on his Truth Social. He says, Obama himself manufactured the Russia hoax. Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, numerous others participated in this. The crime of the century. Wouldn't that be 9/11 this century? It would probably be the crime of the century. Oh, anyway, it was the Russian hoax against Trump, according to him. Irrefutable evidence, a major threat to our country. And then we have Trump today saying it here. See if we can get this to play. We're having this problem. These guys hotspot, or maybe it's just me, their videos seem to get hung up quite a bit on the X platform. Let's see if we can get it to play here. And it's very slow as well for some reason. Here we go.
Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one they, look, he's guilty. It's not a question, I like to say, let's give it time. It's there, he's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries. You've seen some pretty rough countries. This man has seen some pretty rough countries, but you've never seen anything like that. And we have all of the documents. And from what Tulsi told me, she's got thousands of additional documents coming. So President Obama, it was his concept, his idea, but he also got it from Crooked Hillary Clinton. Crooked is a $3.
Remember lock her up? That never happened. But yet they want us to believe The newest hoax here. Here's Trump directly accusing former President Barack Hussein Obama of treason. What is this? Oh, Lutnick.
Yeah, this is just in. Lutnick just posted this. So he just posted this. It said like 43 minutes ago or something. It doesn't show the time now. Yeah, an hour ago. Trump posted, "We just completed a massive deal with Japan, perhaps the largest deal ever made. Japan will invest, in my direction, $550 billion into the United States, which will receive 90% of the profits. This deal will create hundreds of thousands of jobs. There's never been anything like it. Perhaps most importantly, Japan will open their country to trade, including cars and trucks, rice and certain other agricultural products and other things. Japan will pay reciprocal tariffs to the United States of 15%. So now Japan, for a cheap bargain basement discount by America price, they now get 15% instead of 25%. They were at 25%. Now they get 15%. So the UK gets 10%. Japan gets 15%. So another deal with $550 billion in just printed money in Japanese yen, which will again send the Japanese yen even cheaper, down against the American dollar, which will strengthen the American dollar once again. So they certainly are correct on international reserve currency strengthening.
Denver's being mean to Lutnick there. You don't like Trump's aardvark handler, Lutnick? Denver, there he says, F Lutnick. If he's talking, he's lying. Well, you're very critical of Lutnick, our great commerce secretary there, Denver. He's making great deals. I don't know. We'll never see any of it, but somebody's making a hell of a lot of money out of it.
As long as he is keeping 9/11 under wraps, secret, hey, it works for me, right?
Lutnick, former Epstein neighbor. Trump, former Epstein neighbor. Just saying. We'll get to that. But here,
come on, don't criticize the neighbor thing. We can all get houses.
We could all be neighbors at Epstein. I mean, that don't implicate you in anything. Okay,
we live in a fair society. We can all go to Wexner too and ask him for $10 houses. Wexner is doling out $10 houses to anybody. He'll give
the
you
most valuable. Yeah, the most valuable.
Come on, Denver. Denver, you just go ask Wexner for a $10 mega mansion in New York.
Most valuable real estate in New York. Yeah.
I'm sure we're actually we're not really in a Jewish.
There is no oligarchy. There is no oligarchy. This is a free market capitalism, free enterprise system we live in. Okay,
and isn't that interesting? Lutnick has one of the. I guess that's the discount you get when you're the only private Federal Reserve discount window access bank in the entire world. So you get $10 houses donated to you by Jewish mafia bosses like Wexner and Epstein.
Yeah, well, that's a good, guys. Okay, here is we got a couple more clips before we take our commercial break. I realize we're past the hour, but let's close out this section. Trump accuses Obama, former President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, otherwise known as Barry Soetoro, the man of mystery. He accuses him of treason because of Russiagate, and still nothing will happen.
If you look at those papers, they have them stone cold, and it was President Obama. It wasn't lots of people all over the place. It was them too. But the leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one they... Look, he's guilty. It's not a question. I like to say... let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries. You've seen some pretty rough countries. This man has seen some pretty rough countries, but you've never seen anything like it. And
they got all the documents, they say. So we're going to replay bad reruns here. Trump suggests severe consequences for Obama. Really? He just got presidential immunity cleared through a Supreme Court ruling, for those that can remember, and I'm sure Obama would. But what's Obama camp reply to these claims by Trump, which are a distraction from his ties to Epstein that won't die, and he doth protest too much, making it obvious he's feeling guilty about something here now, that is Trump. Here's the Obama camp response. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response, but these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. I got to agree with Obama camp here. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee led by then Chairman Marco Rubio. Sick burn there by the Obama camp. So that was their reply. Let's go ahead and take our live commercial break. Again, I don't believe anything will come of this, but MAGA is, they know how to point MAGA. Look over there, and they look, and they do appear to like bad reruns. You're going first? Go, plug.
Yeah, Thomas of Alpha Omega Energy, the world's #1 breakthrough clean energy technology startup. I would like to ask those in the audience if you have any credit profile, 680 credit score, 660 credit score. You can access very quickly in 48 hours a finance loan for $35,000. Loan that to me. I will pay the payments. I will then use this money to finish the commercialization of our world #1 technology, clean energy generator, making electricity. I will purchase 2 Bitcoin miners, run those miners with our electricity, and show it off on video to everybody. We will then go on to raise a huge amount of capital to scale. We'll earn revenue and profit from this, and then be able to grow very fast. And with startup centers like Berkeley and Skydeck and other venture capital investors looking for these solutions, record blackouts, power outages, what I will be able to reward you from this is quite massive, and you can get your money back, and I will pay the loan out, and you can charge me a 100% finance fee, and you can get all of that likely in 60 to 90 days, all paid off with your finance fee. So please reach out to me to find out more. Anybody who's interested, earn yourself some money and help to change the world. Thank you very much.
All right, Thomas. Thank you for that. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers over there. We take donations. Help us out. Bring you independent reporting and analysis. We got our holograph sticker, our white background sticker, and our clear sticker there. We have a few books over there as well in the Weaponized News store. Give it a look. Appreciate everyone's support. And I'm going to try to do something with the subscriptions, like do Subscribestar or with that other one. I don't know, but I think you can set it up on our Amazon link right in the front of weaponizednews.com. We do take donations in the description below. This video is our Bitcoin wallet address. And so we do appreciate the subscribers, the donations, and the patrons of Weaponized News store there at weaponizednews.com. Let me play a word from our sponsor. I'm back with the second part of the show and the rest of the news for you. Here's Abazaba Enterprise.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abazaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abazaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250. 9250 for stress-free solutions.
And we're back to the second half of the show. Welcome to the second part of Weaponized News on this July 22nd, Tuesday edition, 2025. Thank you for joining us as the House goes on recess. We're not there yet. We will cover public health, hopefully not violate any community guidelines. I think we're good with the fluoride. Here is a clip. The Trump administration, the DOJ there is blocking. Trump's DOJ says EPA will appeal landmark fluoride ruling. I think we reported on this last week at the time, but it needs to be reiterated again. Make America great again. Thank you very much, Trump's DOJ and MAHA. I'm sure they appreciate these efforts by Pam Bondi and the Trump Department of Justice there now. And so it needs to be reiterated once again in the face of the quote science, peer-reviewed studies, blah, blah, blah. You know the whole routine of it by now. You should anyway. And that's all been presented on the fact that fluoride is a neurotoxin, reducing children's IQ, your IQ. And it looked like it was with the state of Utah and Florida adding it to the public drinking water supply. But now at the federal level, the DOJ is seeking to appeal the landmark fluoride ruling. And that news comes out of Fluoride Action Network, true public health heroes. And here's a short clip about.
Well, what you gotta, I mean, they ruined the world for all the leftists, and all of the leftists are suffering with depression. 33% of leftist kids are considering suicide, right, as they said, and all want to run to Trudeau's maid pots. So they're coming out with these new anti-depression drugs full of fluorine, right, fluoride, which is fluorine salts. So put it in the water. Maybe fluoridated water will cheer up some leftists. I mean, you keep those leftists happy. I guess they're working for the Democrats, right? Maybe
a backhanded solution. Safe to drink. Here's a short clip about the fluoride. 150 communities have removed fluoride from their water supplies. A bunch of conspiracy nutballs, obviously, from Cheryl Atkinson. Here's a short clip about the fluoride in her water. And of course, she's a conspiracy nutball too, I guess.
Fluoride was a generally unwanted byproduct of aluminum, fertilizer, and iron ore manufacturing until the industry promoted the idea of adding it to water supplies. Today, selling fluoride used in water is a $1.2 billion a year global business, and one that has rarely been without controversy starting in the 1950s, with concerns ranging from fluoride being a communist plot to undermine public health to it being a form of mandatory medication. Now, there is a modern and growing body of research suggesting that fluoride may be linked to health issues like bone fractures, joint problems, and neurological issues, especially in children.
Fluoride is a neurotoxin. In a child, that is extremely critical to consider because the brain is being developed.
Well, if you don't like drinking toxic waste, you're some kind of damn conspiracy nut, Thomas. I don't know what these people are talking about.
We got to cure leftist depression. We got to get it under control, right?
It's quite horrific. It's all there for the world to see, and yet we're still fighting to get fluoride out of drinking water. It's just beyond the pale. But thankfully, at the Health and Human Services Department, Secretary DeBile, Bobby Kennedy Jr., they're putting this out. This is today.
What could be better for long COVID than giving them neurotoxins?
Maha wins. Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks to cut synthetic dyes by 2027. Of course, synthetic dyes are a problem, but that's like very low on the list of toxins in our food supply.
Victory. What a gigantic
It's a victory.
Right?
Made in America. Today, President praises AstraZeneca's massive $50 billion investment in offshoring manufacturing amid tariffs. Let's watch this. And so we do all truly appreciate the efforts of AstraZeneca in public health.
We have a big announcement. AstraZeneca, the big drug company, is going to spend $50 billion, just announced $50 billion in the United States in order to build various places all over the country, big manufacturing plants, pharmaceutical plants all over the country. So that's an honor. And he said they did that because of the election and because of the fact that the tariffs are placed. So they're building their facilities in New York. $50 billion, that's a big investment. And it's going to be a very good investment. I have no doubt about it. So thank you.
So that's wonderful for Maha. We should be celebrating that, of course.
What a Maha champion he is.
and then this one, shockingly enough, let me put it on the screen here. From Bobby Kennedy
All this
Jr.
winning is making me ill.
It's making me sick, all this winning. Our findings show that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life. And this is horrifying. The organ procurement organizations that coordinate access to transplants will be held accountable. The entire system must be fixed to ensure that every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves. Huh? Yeah, they're literally organ harvesting here now in American hospitals. We thought it was only something that happened in China. Well, no, it's actually in America, all over the Western world, as a matter of fact. But today's reporting comes from good old America here, and right from sitting Secretary of Health and Human Services, Bobby Kennedy Jr.
But what could be more healthy than organs, mRNA injected organs, cut out right out of living people in the hospital while they're still alive?
The economy's getting so bad, you may have to sell your spike protein liver here soon, or kidney, excuse me. Okay.
Make sure you take your CoQ10, right, that you're deficient in, your oil-fueled chemical synthetic venom, renal toxic synthetic venoms. Make sure, though, you take your CoQ10 for your liver, which is liver toxic. Because you're deficient. You're deficient
here
in CoQ10, you see.
Right, press release right from HHS. HHS finds systemic disregard for sanctity of life in organ transplant system. Now that's not scary at all. Oh, Jesus. Take organ donor off of your driver's license. I'm telling you, this is your public health warning from Weaponized News. We've been saying it for a long time here now, but
we interviewed somebody on Weaponized News that was actually done to. Interestingly enough, the famous flat earther, his wife, we interviewed her on the show. She wrote about it. He was actually one of the very first deaths due to COVID in the hospitals there, if you remember that. And she talked about this, that she thinks that they were organ harvesting. I think they're organ harvesting my husband, is what she said. And he went in the hospital seemingly okay, seemingly should have been coming out of there all right, and then he's dead. She's got a book out about it.
I remember. Okay, here's.
But Trump is beating the censorship industrial complex against these people, the truth seekers and people speaking out about some kind of a little scientific.
First-hand testimony about the abuse they received during the medical intervention period. Yeah. Here's HHS official account. I don't know. Should it be censored? Probably. And they added the FDA recently issued class safety warnings for myocarditis and pericarditis for the miracle right here. You can see. So right there, I mean, I don't know what it takes here now. But
I would like to comment on the myocarditis. Okay, I hope everybody enjoyed that little tidbit. Very valuable information.
Thank you for your analysis. Okay, on to the Epstein stuff. And I want to give David Icke credit because the first time I ever heard of it, and I did a little AI search here, and David Icke was calling it out, man. David Icke warned us. The first documented instance of David Icke explicitly claiming that satanic pedophiles rule the world appears in his 1999 book, The Biggest Secret. In it, he describes a global elite who he calls the Brotherhood as being deeply involved in satanic rituals, including child sacrifice, blood drinking, and the extraction of adrenochrome from terrified children to sustain their power and longevity. He asserts that this elite, which includes prominent figures in royalty, politics, business, banking, and media, controls world events and institutions through these practices. I don't know, man. Nobody was saying it then in 1999. David Icke said it, and it sounded pretty damn crazy. It still sounds pretty damn crazy today, but it's sorting out to be pretty right on to what's actually going on. Back to Trump here in regarding the Epstein. Trump administration plans to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell within the coming days. She didn't kill herself, obviously. She's in high spirits in prison, looking to make some kind of deal. It's being reported, allegedly. Let's hear from Trump one question about Epstein's partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, who trafficked children to no one, apparently.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is.
So that's very kind of Trump to wish old convicted child trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell to wish her well. Here's Hakeem Jeffries on the Epstein files. The Democrats, of course, as you would expect, are sensing the blood in the water here. Let's hear from the leader of the Democrats in the House of Representatives.
The situation here. Jeffrey Epstein was a friend of Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested during the Trump administration. Jeffrey Epstein was detained during the Trump administration. Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide during the Trump administration. Trump administration officials have said prior to arriving in Washington in positions of prominence, including at the FBI and the Department of Justice, that they were going to release the Epstein files. Trump administration officials are now in a position to release the Epstein files. Does any of that, in your view, have anything to do with President Joe Biden? Why do we think President Joe Biden or President Barack Obama's names are being invoked? Because Donald Trump is running scared. And the Trump administration is running scared. What are they hiding from the American people? Release the files so that the American people can make a decision on their own. This has nothing to do with a Democratic-led conspiracy theory. And the facts and the chronology make that clear.
So they come up with this wild conspiracy theory, and he just says, it has nothing to do with the conspiracy theory, right? It is a conspiracy. Yet another demonocrat, left-wing hoax, a conspiracy theory. There's another one.
Here's former Sports Illustrated model Stacey Williams claims Jeffrey Epstein walked her into Donald Trump's office to be sexually assaulted by him while Epstein watched at Trump Tower in 1993. I don't know, maybe another false Me Too claim, but it's out there.
I'm considered number 27 on Donald Trump's 27th sexual assault victim. When I was doing Sports Illustrated, that's when he assaulted me. Jeffrey Epstein walked me into his office to be sexually assaulted by him.
Right, and what are we seeing? People need to take this with a huge grain of salt. Of course, numbers of these people, these females, these leftist females, they sign up to lie about Trump. They're more than willing to do it, and right, especially if they don't have money for lawsuits. And then right, Trump is expected to sue all of these people and pay hundreds of millions of dollars to go after all of these false accusers. And he said throngs of them made these claims against Trump, and it went nowhere because there was nothing. They're endlessly willing to lie through their teeth. Reid Hoffman of Censorship Industrial Criminal Establishment LinkedIn, which has destroyed my accounts once again, financed multiple fraudulent cases against Trump and accusations against Trump and Justice Kavanaugh and so on, even with CIA officers.
But it's really starting to look like this is just all theater, honestly.
So you don't know, like, if
you don't know if they're legitimate claims or if it's part. Well, let's take a look at this one. Maria Farmer, one of the earliest whistleblowers against Jeffrey Epstein, told CNN that in 1996 she was called to a 9 p.m. quote job interview at Epstein's office only for Donald Trump to show up. Let's watch this clip on CNN and see what we think of this accuser of Trump's alleged abuse.
I've waited 3 decades to be able to even be heard about this because the government has not held any of the people I reported accountable. And so basically the night before I went in, before I began working for Epstein, he called me at very late in the evening and asked me to come up to the Helmsley Palace offices. And I didn't even have money for a subway token. It's kind of embarrassing. So I had to go running up there. And so I told Epstein, I'll be up there. It'll probably take me until like 9. He's like, okay. So I get there and I'm waiting. It's dark. Like there's no light on in the offices. And I thought that was really weird. So I'm seated against the wall in the main part of the offices and just waiting for Epstein. And he says, I'll be out in a minute, you know, and he's got the door closed. And then a few minutes later, this man walks in a business suit, kind of tall, imposing. And I immediately was like, that's Donald Trump. What's he doing here? I'm supposed to be working for Epstein and interviewing with him. Why is Donald Trump here? And he walked up about, a few feet from me and just stood over me in a very imposing way and looked at me like he was in on some secret or something. It was really weird, like smirking, kind of. And I felt threatened, so I made an ugly face. And when I made that ugly face, Epstein walked out from the offices on this side. Trump's standing here, I'm here. And he walks out of his office and he goes, oh, no. He was laughing at me. And he goes, she's not here for you. Follow me, right? And he escorts him in to this other room. And I always wondered, who was she in there? Was someone in there, right? And I have no way of knowing, nothing. But I felt very intimidated because I had on running shorts and I was vulnerable, sweaty, just a nobody in an office with these 2 men. That it felt very predatory and uncomfortable. I have to say that when I made that ugly face, he backed off. It wasn't like he was aggressive after that, but he made a really vulgar comment following. And I don't know if it was like, like locker room talk in the 90s, the way men were, but he made a joke to Epstein, oh, I thought she was 16. And I thought that was so strange because at the time my sister she was 15 actually. And I didn't think it was funny, even though it was just a little bit inappropriate, but I thought, I don't know what it was. But anyway, and then they entered that room.
So Epstein says, she's not for you. And then when did Trump make the comment about your age? Again, you were 25 at the time, right? So, I mean, you were a 25-year-old woman. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
was
a
it
woman,
after Epstein
right.
said that comment that he made the comment about age, or?
Yes. So he first said, no, she's not here for you, which immediately made me feel weird. Like, was there someone there, right? In that other room. And so that's another reason I was nervous. And so as soon as he said that, laughed, I made the face, all that stuff, they started to walk away into that other room where he's escorting him. He goes, come with me. And he takes Trump into this other room in the offices at 9 o'clock at night. And there's no one else in, that I know of in these offices, but was someone in that room. So I always wondered what that was about. And anyway.
So it looks like nothing there, a nothing burger, but then it makes me think, did they march all these people out to put out false claims as cover? Is what it looks like. Here's flashback to Trump during 2006 interview with Howard Stern.
And Trump said as well, right? Trump has always said, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And Trump has always been surrounded by, right, Jewish mafia, Jewish
Lutnick
Russian
is his handler
Jewish
now.
Russian mafia, Italian mafia, and New York mafia in the mafia city of all mafia cities.
His mentor was Roy Cohen here in New York City there.
What is the best thing about being Donald Trump right now?
Well, other than the fact I'm married, okay?
Right.
And I'm very happily married. I have a great wife. But if I weren't married, I'd be able to get all of the girls I want, except for possibly Robin.
Do you think you could now be banging 24-year-olds?
Oh, absolutely.
Would you?
No trouble.
Would you do it?
I have no problem.
Yeah, do you have an age limit, or would you?
No, I have no age. I mean, I have an age. I don't want to be
the
like
upper bracket
Foley with 12-year-olds.
Can I make a prediction for you?
Yes.
I say you have one more marriage in you.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. I'm sure Melania will love to hear it.
What is the best thing?
Provocative talk on the Howard Stern show. And then we get into, of course, the last week over the weekend, Fox News host Mark Levin, Mr. Zionist himself, said that
it's a slime show, right? The Howard Stern show is a slime show. Trump is trying to be funny. He's trying to go along with it. He's trying to be cocky. He's trying to talk himself up. He's trying to build his brand. He's trying to talk manly, all of this kind of stuff. And then it's all manipulated against him. Not saying that he doesn't have any compromise on him. He might. Not saying that. I mean, he's an older guy, and in the
they're planting the seeds of doubt
in the baby boomer generation, right? Even in the prior to the Gen X era, it was very common in the 60s, 70s, 80s sexual revolution era. There was all of this, right? I mean, we see it now. I mean, the rise of this underage sex and sex industry in America is massive. There's never been more, underage porn and sexting and these videos going on Snapchat and all of this. That was going on just without. So instead of that happening on the internet, on these apps, that was still going on at that time, and it was rampant. It was rampant there. And maybe some of these guys are being offered all of these girls and whatnot, and then maybe Trump did something with somebody, and maybe somebody's got some pictures. Maybe somebody has some compromise on him. As Peter Thiel said, everybody has compromise on him, and there's quotes. There's recordings of Roy Cohn talking to Epstein, saying that this guy is totally uncorruptible, and other mafia gangsters saying that Trump is totally uncorruptible. We've tried everything possible to corrupt this guy and get to this guy, and you can't. I'm telling you, you can't get to this guy. He's uncorruptible. We've tried everything, and so they trust him, right? Is what these people were saying. There's audio recordings of that. There's audio recordings. I'll be playing possibly tomorrow. I'll come on and do some material at a different time after the Sam Chaney show. I might come on and play that because it's incredible. These audio recordings of Roy Cohn and Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein, and nobody's playing that anywhere. It's just shocking.
Here's old Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, on Mark Levin, prepping everybody for the congressional break here now. Trump posted this, I think it was on Sunday.
Cycle. We have a lot to run on, and you have a lot to run against, given the other party. But I will tell you this, we better be united, we better be strong, we better be focused, we better be articulate. We can't waste our time on Epstein and other stuff that are going on here that some people want us to focus on. I've about had it with all that stuff. We better focus on who we are, what we're doing, where we want to take the country, and what they want to do to the country. Mr. Speaker, God bless you, my friend. I appreciate you very, very much.
Yeah, don't focus on the Epstein stuff because the entire Black Book is all right. The who's who of the Israeli intelligence industry, the Mossad industry, the American democrats, these top Talmudic Zionist Jews.
So
that are
the other side in our fake left-right paradigm here, Speaker Mike Johnson, let's go to him now. He says he will suspend the House until September to block Epstein file votes by Democrats. Let's go to this clip right now because nobody even cares about it. Honestly, it's just about getting those evil left-wing Democrats. Audio here?
No, but I, as you all know, I speak to the president multiple times a day on a typical day, often, always. And what I know about the president's heart on this is that he agrees with everything I've said here today. He wants maximum transparency, but he's also very insistent that we do not subject people who have already been victims of unspeakable crimes to further public scrutiny. And it would be a very dangerous thing to put those people's names out or to do a release of information in a way that is haphazard where they could be easily unmasked. And so you have to be very careful about how you do that. I think we have a moral responsibility to do that. We have a moral responsibility to expose the evil of Epstein, and everybody was involved in that. Absolutely. And we're resolved to do it. But we also have an equal moral responsibility to protect the innocent. And that is a fine needle to thread. And we could all give ourselves easy political cover and come out and do something in a haphazard fashion, but I would not be able to sleep at night because I know our legal responsibility. I understand what the legal standard is, but more than that, the moral standard, okay? So we're going to do this, and we're going to do it expeditiously. We're going to do it the right way. What is popular isn't always right, and what is right isn't always popular. I had an 8th grade teacher tell me that one time. I carried it with me my whole life. We're going to do the right thing here. And
Mr. Moral, do the right thing, Christian Zionist. Mike Johnson, who loves genociding of Palestinian children there. So I totally believe that he's just trying to do the right thing, Thomas.
Yeah, despite they're all adults, despite they're all there doing prostitution, they're all prostitutes. I mean, let's face it, they're there for money. There's nobody saying that, I wasn't there to work, I didn't accept this job or whatever, and I was just, just stone cold raped, something that's, as far as I'm aware, so far there's nobody saying that. They're all doing prostitution. And
doesn't this make
and they're adults now, and they can't deal with it. Like, it's just ridiculous.
It's a fake cover. Doesn't this look like they're just covering it up and hoping it goes away with, Trump administration House moves up summer break to avoid Epstein vote. And so it looks like they're trying to block it, trying to cover it up, trying to hope it goes away over their 5-week vacation here now.
I mean, the criminals know who they are. The criminals know who the victims are. So they're not being put in any more danger when the public knows who they are, right? But there's no difference. If the criminals want to get to them, they know who they are. They go after their victims now. It's not going to change that. So releasing this,
Mike Johnson's morality falls on deaf ears over here as he signs off on genocide there in the Aardvark land. You see,
you got to hide the identity of the victims. I mean, this is the same bullshit that they played when Adam Pile of Schiff, the unconvicted criminal, lied through his teeth with all of these fake. He put up all of these criminally fraudulent fake whistleblowers, CIA agents and officials, people literally working for the CIA, like Vindman, working for the State Department, fake whistleblowers lying through their teeth. And Schiff and Vindman should be in prison for the rest of their lives for that. Where are the charges for these guys for that? Hopefully they're getting there. I'm sure they're going in that direction. But when's it going to happen? I mean, it should be done already. None
of them are getting in trouble. Stop smoking hopium over there.
But it's it's the point
should
is
be they should
the point,
be,
but the point is let's not let's not forget about the point here. They put up fake witnesses, and then they hid the identity of the whistleblowers, these witnesses, and they could be doing this too, right? They package in all of these fake witnesses in there, the fake claimants and everything else, and then they never reveal who they are because they're not even real. So nobody gets to confront them. You don't ever get to face your accuser, right? And it's just another shell game that they can play to just rig up some fake bullshit against people, right? So without transparency,
indeed, to muddy the waters, and then everybody says, "Well, they rigged up this whole fake hoax," so that obviously the real accusations are part of that fake hoax, and so it all muddies the water, all part of the fog of the information war that we're fighting here now. Okay, they're looking very suspicious. I mean, I got to admit, Trump flying off the handle, all of his surrogates in the Mockingbird media going to his defense. Congress now, the House of Representatives going on vacation. It's just looking a little bit too damn suspicious. And fake claims of morality from these criminals. They look very guilty, honestly, at this point, but I don't believe we'll ever get to the bottom of it because they're going to keep deflecting, diverting, coming up with fake hoaxes.
Protect the innocent, he said, right? But definitely don't protect those innocent Palestinians. Those are all Hamas. All those children you see, those are all Hamas. The kindergartens that are getting bombed and blown to hell, those are all Hamas, you see.
Hamas.
Protect the innocent, right? So you can...
We'll get there. Okay, we got... Try to keep it under 2 hours here. I don't think we are, but we're going to try to keep it at 2 hours. Continuing in geopolitical news, Russia-Ukraine war continues. We're praying for peace. Both sides are bad. Of course, Putin, the most evil man in the world, YouTube. But let's hear from Foreign Minister Lavrov from Russia. He says that European leaders are whipping up their populations with Goebbels-style propaganda, convincing them that Russia is an eternal enemy and an existential threat. Here's translated in English. It's not good. We're not seeing peace as promised by Trump. Let's hear from Lavrov here, translated into English, subtitles.
Европа остервенела, другого слова подобрать не могу. Даже напрашивается каламбур. Они сейчас являются частью международного оборзения по отношению к Российской Федерации, всячески заводят свои народы, внушают им в духе геббельсовской пропаганды, что Россия – это извечный враг, экзистенциальная угроза, что Россия вот-вот нападет на Европу, поэтому нужно забыть про социальные проблемы, про провалы в экономике, забыть про процесс деиндустриализации, который наблюдается в том числе и в Германии, и в других европейских странах, и все силы, все средства, все налоги бросить исключительно на милитаризацию Европы. Европа...
Not good. Their alleged peace talks are going on, but it doesn't, we're not going anywhere. We need peace there. Stop killing each other. All sides are bad. Of course, Putin's the worst. But Ukraine moves against independent anti-corruption bodies here. Now, Ukraine, this is a report out of Financial Times just today. This happened. Ukraine beats the corruption allegations by stopping its independent investigation. And so, the Ukrainian people are out there protesting. Here's some video of that. But again, Trump has signed off on sending a bunch more weapons over there to Ukraine. And
they're shutting down the anti-corruption agencies. I say send them another $150 billion.
Obviously, send them more weapons.
Give him another Oscar. Send Sean Penn. Where's Sean Penn?
Send more weapons and money immediately. The corruption investigators are out.
You get an Oscar for that, right? In Hollywood.
It's a bit too much, but that just happened today there in Ukraine. Again. Stop killing each other. Okay, moving on to some more corruption. There in Syria, they've done wholesale slaughter of the Alawites, of the Christians there, and now they're moving on to the Druze. U.S. citizen among 8 Druze executed there by Syrian forces led by the reformed radical ISIS Al-Qaeda leader, now president of Syria. Let's hear from the State Department when asked about what's going on there in Syria. Now, we're backing former jihadists, and there's mass killings going on there, but they're former Al-Qaeda, so I guess it's okay now. Tammy Bruce, who who actually supports aardvark land more than America, in her own words, which we played the clip here on the show, but thankfully she's representing our State Department at the propaganda conference. Here it is.
I can tell you is that all parties have reached a cessation of hostilities. We are calling on the Syrian government to lead on the next steps and hold all perpetrators of violence accountable for their actions. The United States government supports Syria's national unity and a peaceful and inclusive resolution with its minority constituents. I did speak with the secretary briefly, actually just before coming up here, which is why I was a little bit late. But he expressed his optimism regarding the current situation, that there needed, the Syrian government agreed to a boundary to not go in to the Soweto area, but that there would be a boundary to make sure that jihadists were also not going in, to maintain some part of the peace, if you will. And he was enthusiastic about that was unfolding properly, and that everyone involved in the atrocities would be held accountable. And that could include people who also may be affiliated with the Syrian government.
Well, I totally believe that we're going to hold our Western intelligence jihadists accountable for the killings they're doing there in Syria. I mean, of course, obviously they'll be held accountable for that. Syria's investigation committee blames March's coastal massacres on Assad. He wasn't even in control there, but of course it's his fault. Some estimated 1,469 Alawites and Christians murdered there by reformed radical jihadist Western intelligence agents, essentially, of Al-Qaeda and ISIS there in Syria. And so it's been quite horrific. Okay, the big news of the day here: the United States pulled out of UNESCO due to its, quote, globalist ideological agenda. I can't argue with that, but it falls on deaf ears coming from the Trump administration. Let's hear now from the old Tammy Bruce again, U.S. pulling out of UNESCO.
United States informed Director General Audrey Azoulay of the United States decision to withdraw from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, also known, of course, as UNESCO. Continued involvement in UNESCO is not in the national interest of the United States. UNESCO works to advance divisive social and cultural causes and maintains an outsized focus on the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, a globalist ideological agenda for international development at odds with our America First foreign policy. UNESCO's decision to admit the, quote, state of Palestine, end quote, as a member state is highly problematic, contrary to U.S. policy, and contributed to the proliferation of anti-Israel rhetoric within the organization. Continued U.S. participation in international organizations will focus on advancing American interests with clarity and conviction. Based on President Trump's executive order, continued participation in international organizations is under review, and this is one result of that review, confirming the importance of making sure that all of what we do comports with the America First agenda.
There you go. Well, you see, they threw in, yeah, we're against Agenda 2030, but by the way, they're anti-aardvark, and that's the real reason why they're pulling out of the UNESCO here now. And so we're part of a double-edged sword. Surprisingly enough here, that's good news, by the way, but I don't know how much we can take them at their word and what they're
Fantastic news. I'm certainly happy about it. To be out of Julian Huxley's genocide regime for overpopulation and environment, right, under the guise of environmental security. Winka, 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 winka. Right, fighting, promoting environmental security, right?
Surprising,
Great to be out of that.
Surprising headline out of Mockingbird Axios here. They say he's a madman. Trump's team frets about Netanyahu after Syria strikes. And so...
but you got to keep the sanctions on the International Criminal Court people that are actually arresting him, right?
We did that. Well, we wouldn't enforce that.
You got to play both sides. You got to, hey, I mean, Trump did grow up in the era of Pong, right? Remember Pong? So he's great at playing both sides.
This report out of Consortium News and via Simon through direct message. Simon's still out there on the interwebs. And so he sent me this story. And so I will report it to you. MAGA going to Aardvark land for propaganda training. The Aardvark government is paying to have 16 MAGA social media influencers, i.e. government propagandists, with millions of followers brought to Aardvark land to learn how to stop American youth from turning against Tel Aviv over Gaza. The Aardvark land foreign ministry will spend $86,000 to finance a tour of Aardvark land for 16 Americans to get them to use their vast online influence to craft more positive images of a nation openly engaged in genocide.
And their names have not been divulged. You will not get to know who are these people that have been bought off to, right?
You'll see when they turn a blind eye. And by the way, you're like, well, they're still killing the Palestinians, right? I'm getting bored over here. Well, indeed they are. In the last 24 hours, 72 Palestinians have been killed there in the Aardvark genocide. I can't hold on any longer. It's basically going to be the United States and Aardvark land, and I guess Argentina, and maybe a few outliers, and the rest of the world is had enough. They just can't seem to stomach it. They're in Europe. The BBC here now reports, I can't hold on any longer. Gazans tell BBC of extreme hunger as UN condemns Aardvark-backed aid system. And again, we continue to report here. They shoot you going for aid there. Something around the number of 100 so far have reportedly been killed looking for aid. Aardvark operation in central Gaza continues amid warnings of severe hunger crisis. Again, the blockade, they're blocking food, clean water, medicine, energy into Gaza, using hunger as a weapon, weaponized hunger, and it's being widely recognized by, I don't know, how many countries here now? I just skip ahead to this to make the point. 28 nations condemn Aardvark land's inhumane killing in Gaza. 28 nations, and the big ones here, again, foreign ministers from 28 countries, including Australia, France, Japan, and the UK, released a joint statement yesterday condemning Aardvark land's ongoing attacks on Palestinian targets in Gaza and its inhumane, quote, inhumane killing of civilians. The suffering of the population in the densely occupied territory has reached new depths. Really? We've been reporting since the very beginning. It's quite horrific now, being internationally recognized. But America's undying support will not be broken here now. This is quite horrific. Congressman out of Florida, I don't know who elected this guy. Of course, the elections are totally legit. But Randy Fine, he says, release the hostages until then starve away. This is all a lie. Anyway, it amazes me that the media continues to regurgitate Muslim terror propaganda, i.e. Western intelligence propaganda. i.e., they really are starving those people, and blocking aid in there. But and of course, he's talking about ABC News. What do you even say to this, Congressman? Nuke 'em all, Randy Fine. There,
I can imagine the comments underneath that are showing the videos of the bloody-faced children that they're rolling out of the bombed out schools and kindergartens and hospitals and in pieces and dead bodies continuously. I mean, it's just continuous carnage video everywhere.
it's horrific. It is horrific. Okay, let's go to. We are seeing the 1930s return again in the United States. Quote, evangelical leader here, Lauren Cardoza Moore, tells Aardvark TV. Let's watch this clip. And so she's a good evangelical Christian Zionist, and so we should all support the Schofield Bible, of course.
We are seeing the 1930s return again in the United States of America. And we have to speak out against these people that are pushing this isolationist viewpoint, this anti-Israel, it's anti-Semitic position.
So this is, you're saying, while many are focusing on the protest, for example, or the anti-Semitism, which is more the radical left or the radical Islam, of course, you're saying that this radical right, this woke right, is dangerous?
Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, look at the things that they are saying. There's even people have started to raise concern about Charlie Kirk. He's made some isolationist comments about, supporting Israel as well. We have to be very careful. We cannot tolerate, as American citizens, even within the Republican, the Conservative Party, we can't tolerate these people. We've seen what's happened with the Democrat Party. We've got a guy that is a pro-terrorist guy who's running for mayor in New York City. This is deeply disturbing that this is happening in the United States of America, and we've got people that are interviewing terrorist sponsors, and we've got what's happening with Iran happening. We have people who are funding and supporting and giving FaceTime. Tucker Carlson, for example, has interviewed the leader of Iran. He's interviewed the leader of Qatar. This is very disturbing that we would give FaceTime to a person like this.
Now, tell us a bit about this really special project you're working on, the Lost Jews of the Inquisition.
Well, this is actually a personal project for me personally. My family is descended from Conversos Marranos. And, after seeing what's happened with the whole immigration issue in the United States, it occurred to me, I'll bet you these people, a lot of these immigrants who come here legally to the United States legally, or even illegally, don't realize that they may also be of Hispanic Latino descent. My great-grandfather on his deathbed called his children to his bedside, told them that he could not leave this earth without telling us that we're Jewish.
Ruckus says this lady is the one who's deeply disturbed. Well, you should just go read your Schofield Bible there and shut up. Don't be antiseptic on this show. Okay, here, I guess I saw a post of this our shadow president, Bibi Netanyahu, went on this podcast. I don't even know the name, Full Send, I guess, and to try to do something. Let's play a short clip of it. I could barely stomach it, but don't be antiseptic is the main message that we're putting out there today.
Yeah, some of the anti-Semitism I see is pretty nuts.
Yeah, well,
yeah. I'll tell you, I'm an American Jew, and it's hard to identify as that.
I understand.
You almost don't even want to own it.
But I think we just changed history. I see American Jews are very proud now. Jews around the world are very proud because we, these guys were out to murder us and do another Holocaust. The Holocaust, the Nazis murdered 6 million Jews. There are now 7 million Jews, close to 8 million Jews in Israel. They want to murder all of us, and they say so.
They're still pumping the endless lies. And then you have these two more Jewish so-called MAGA conservative influencers. I mean, it's just endless subversion, propping up all these fake influencers everywhere. Two more, these guys.
We got a big antiseptic guy here, former Aardvark Land Defense Minister Mosey Ya'alon, he takes the X to slam aardvark operations in Gaza as war crimes. And so this guy's a clear anti-septic guy. Here's his post. He says, heads of the defense system, the chief of staff, the head of the Mossad, and the acting head of the Shin Bet, the evacuation of an entire population from their homes indiscriminately, the systemic destruction of their homes, and their concentration in a confined area in a, quote, humanitarian city for the purpose of voluntary deportation. This is a series of war crimes under the law, not to mention our moral values, starving a population to bring about voluntary deportation. This is a war crime and an action contrary to our moral values, shooting and killing, not in a life-threatening situation. This is murder and a war crime. Abandoning hostages to their fate is a moral crime, which is not included in the legal framework of war crimes, because no one could have imagined that a government would abandon its own citizens and soldiers to cling to power. You were trained and educated to treat the elected political echelon with respect and in a statesmanlike manner, but also not to obey a manifestly illegal order with a black flag flying above it. You may not have noticed the distraction. The destruction may be blurring. The dilemma is not simple, but we are already there. It is your duty as citizens to relieve you of this dilemma by replacing the messianic, draft dodging, and corrupt government, but conduct your own actions wisely for the future of the state, so that your subordinates will not be required to carry out acts that will haunt them for the rest of their lives and stain our people and our state. Wow, that's quite a post there by former defense minister out of Aardvark Land, and he's clearly anti-septic with those comments.
Right. Yeah, antiseptic. I mean, how dare you question Mile Kowski, who's not from there at all? His family not from there at all. How dare you question Mile Kowski?
War in Gaza tests ties between aardvarks and traditional European allies. As we covered, there 28 nations issue a damning statement against Aardvark land genocide.
Well, Trump's for it. Trump's for it. Trump's got.
That's all we need. Make MIGA. Oh, that's make Iran great again. Sorry.
Trump will soon be sanctioning that ex-Israeli defense minister.
I'm sure he will. Sure he will. And so, but the left-wing Democrats will save us. No, it turns out it's all just the government. If people could ever get over the left-right divide in this country, AOC campaign office vandalized with anti-Aardvark message after vote on Republican amendment. Let's watch this report out of Fox News.
So Cash Patel's okay. He's got an Aardvark girlfriend. I guess he's fine.
It's fine then. I don't know. Would AOC Smollett her own?
That's an anti-Semitic message.
Apparently, yeah.
Exposing the genocide that's going on in Gaza, that's internationally recognized. That's anti-Semitism.
According to Fox News, indeed it is. And so they're the news. And so, yeah, It is, Thomas. It is antiseptic.
Aardvark run Fox News.
Yes, indeed.
Like every anchor now is a right is an aardvark.
AOC is facing death threats, vandalism after aardvark land related vote. And so would she, my question to you, would she stage a small attack on her own campaign office there in New York City that we just saw video of? Or is this a legitimate antiseptic attack, according to Fox News?
How dare you suspect the bar girl actor who signed up for the acting job and then was put into that position? How dare you do 1 + 1 Sam?
She's a left-wing populist savior on tour with Bernie Sanders to fight the oligarchy. Thomas, I don't know why you would think that she would vote against aardvark land, but I don't know. I say donate to her campaign. What the hell? Okay.
I'm all for actors, fake actors as your politicians to fraud.
They all are. They all are.
And hey, $174,000 salary a year, $19-20 million net worth in just a couple of years. Hey, hey, that's the American dream, right? When you're with AIPAC, that's the American dream.
If right-wing populism can't save you, left-wing populism will save you. Okay, with that, let's wrap up the show
fake
now.
act going.
Okay, with that, let's wrap up the show today.
Make fake actors great again. Faga.
Failed actors, actually. I guess Trump's a successful
failed
actor.
Actors great again. Faga.
Faga. There you go. Okay, what's your announcement? You're going to do a show following Weaponized News tomorrow, so we have to make sure not to run long with Ruckus, by the way, co-hosting tomorrow on Weaponized News. So make your announcement when you're going to do the Molecule Police show.
Yeah, I'll do it regularly. Your Weaponized News show is 2 hours from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., so I was thinking I would go at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, so an extra 30 minutes there of run time. And if you guys run over, I'll just be waiting until you guys finish, and then I will get going. I'll run a Molecule Police.
No, we'll have to hit it right on the time, and we'll have to do less because you got to process. It takes time to process the video before we can load up another stream. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I guess we'll test it out tomorrow and see.
We'll find out. We'll find out how it goes. Well, we'll see. If everything goes well with that. With the processing everything, we'll be at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be doing a show on the Weaponized News International Network, which is all of the regular Weaponized News channels, except for on YouTube. We will self-censor. Beep, 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 beep. We cannot post on YouTube because molecular facts are hateful. They're actual facts of real science is hateful on YouTube, right? Might as well spell it with a J, pronounce it like a Y, YouTube. Certainly,
well,
it's hateful there. So we will not be airing on YouTube. Sorry, YouTubers, but all of the other channels we will be on there. So if you want to learn more about the molecular engineering of what's going on in the fraud and subversion of being done by these counterintelligence agency actors. So to cover all of this up and gatekeep this and race in and pretend to be like they're exposing something, just repeating what's already been exposed and then making sure it goes no further as they're endlessly, slowly, right, the last line of defense. I will be covering that and showing all of this tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Thomas, for your efforts there. Let's go to the channels now, over to the Odysee. I see Highland, Huffman, Wire. They're posting some memes there. What does it say? I've been dead for 5 years and still in the papers. Epstein. Yeah, pretty good, right? Would you be my new big mind? That's bad. Thank you guys for tuning in on the, what does Huffman say? Weaponized News. It's in American school milk now. Yeah, probably some toxic. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Nobody in BRICS ever said they want a new reserve currency. That's a good point. Huffman says there. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee. Appreciate it. Let's go to the Bitchute. Is there anybody on the Bitchute? Let's take a look here. Bitchute. Yeah, a few people. Shout out to Bitchute. Thank you for tuning in on the Bitchute. Appreciate it.
Okay. And another point to add, just one more point. The guy said that nobody in BRICS said they want to replace and become the new world reserve currency. That's true. They never said that. That is a good point. But also Europe, which is controlled by the Aardvark central banking system, they don't want it either. They want the Rothschild dollar. They want this to continue as a central currency or a shared basket, which they already have between the United States dollar and the euro, and they intend to continue that. They're not going to lose their power to these other countries. I mean, it's ridiculous. So unless you think that that can be totally taken down, I mean, it should be occupied, as Trump is saying, occupy the Republican Party, take it over. I mean, certainly the banking and financial industry needs to be taken over, no question about it, or right, they're going to achieve their world totalitarian dictatorship. But for people to think that there's going to be something replacing this Rothschild dollar, I mean, that is delusional.
Well, thankfully we have AOC and Bernie Sanders fighting the oligarchy, so I'm optimistic about our future. Continuing, thank you to the chat on Rumble, quite lively on the Rumble. Shout out to a few people chiming in on the YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in there. Who do we got on the Rumble? We got Dual Helix, we got Chloe, Karen, we got Denver at the beginning. I think I did see Fat Bob in there somewhere, or Gunther, as he's going by one of his internet aliases. And shout out to everybody else who I missed there. Thank you guys on this first show back for me this week. Who else do we got? Facebook, shout out to Facebook, Kick, and Twitch for those on there. And again, thank you to the Substack. I don't know what happened on Substack. Denver said he posted it or reposted it. Somebody besides Denver, maybe Denver, I don't know, but something. We're still racking up followers and subscribers like nothing I've seen in a long time on the interwebs here now, is being shadow banned on every place basically, except for I guess Bitchute and friggin' Substack. I don't even know about those, but anyway, they're rolling in, and so shout out to the Substack audience. Thank you guys for following and subscribing. We'll keep it going here at Weaponized News, and with that, we're going to sign off on YouTube so we can play out with Ozzy Osborne's War Pigs because they'll flag me for copyright. So we're leaving you now. YouTube, thank you guys. We hate Trump YouTube and Putin's evil YouTube.